Hi, welcome to my continuing journey in exploring different art challenges for me. And today I'm going to, for example, if you want your doodle to be the main focal point without really any embellishment, that's fine. And if you want to incorporate your doodle in a border to kind of frame it, that's good as well. And if you want your border to be more reactive or more involvement, that's a good option as well. So I'm going to go through a couple of basic ideas. And like I said, depending upon which border you're going for, depends on the amount of pre-planning you might have to do. So this is going to be basically a square. Well, it's a rectangle, but a square is a rectangle with elongated sides. So you can freehand it or go with a sketch first with a pencil, depending upon what your preference is. And again, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but it's the same principle. And the good thing about borders is it can include elements of your main doodle or something entirely different, as well as your favorite patterns. I'm going to be using my Staedtler 8-pinket liner. I like these in case I want to go over with a wet medium like watercolor or new color 2s, which I like to use. And I recommend that you have a set that has different point sizes. This one is a number 1, because that way you give the viewer a bit more visual variety, which is always a good thing. And that being said, I like to first go over the main edge, and I'm sorry if you're hearing the siren. I live by a firehouse that can be rather active. Okay. Now you could have did this in a frame, but that's not what I'm going for. And this can obviously be done in a frame, because basically you would replicate the elements in a square. I'm switching to thinner, which is pigment liner number 0.7. See the difference between this line and the thicker one? like I said, I like the variety. And you can be as detailed as you want with your border or frame, as it were. Now, I'm going to have to edit this on my phone, but the reason is I still have a memory problem with my computer. So the software that I'm using on my computer doesn't rather on my phone, which is right up there, and that I have a window there. Fortunately, the sun is out, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so the music isn't. They have a library of music, but the songs or music is like basically a minute long, and it doesn't really work with me. So I apologize for the lack of music. For this, I'm using my B watercolor paper. It's 100% cotton and very absorbent, but sometimes there is a little bit of drying time for the ink to dry, so I have a little bit of a boo-boo over there. But you can take your time as opposed to me being kind of anxious and impatient. So this was a square, and I like to use geometrical shapes. So I want to incorporate a circle and a border around the circle. So it doesn't necessarily have to be all hard edges. You can do a border or a frame if it's continuous, and not it doesn't have to be continuous, and I'll show you on this one. So you have your doodle already in here. So example, and let's see. Okay, so you have your doodle, and you want to do a border, but you don't know how to address it. So just start anywhere, okay? And you can include it. So example, say I have okay. Say I have a little bit of plant. What I can do is going in with the thicker one, so the plant extends a bit about over the thick line. Now this is a quick example, and I want to extend I realize I'm probably raising a couple of issues simultaneously, but that's okay. You can re-watch it and get the finer details. So we have extended the plant, and again, you can be as detailed with your border as you want. So And I said that it doesn't necessarily have to be continuous. An example of that, say this is a cloud, and this is a sun or a moon. Let's do a moon with now you can see I went over the border or the pencil lines, but what you can do is, let's make this go behind. So this border is going to go behind the land mass. And depending upon what you want, you can use it the same line width for your main items. And you can also curtail that one here, that border section off. Now, obviously, this is my main goal with this video, is showing you how to include a border, but not necessarily the artwork or the doodle. So kind of giving you an idea of what it could look like. Now on this one, where the border is just a line around the piece, what I like to do, and again it's an option, is say you have some stones, okay, or rocks, or and some grass. What I like to do is, if I am using like watercolor and the watercolor extends over in my border. Hold on one second. These are Caran d'Ache water soluble crayons, but when you apply the crayons and then activate it with a little bit of water, like the ink tints, they become permanent. So get a little bit of water. These are really cool. I like these. I like stuff that are permanent when it dries. That way I can play around differently when it's dry. So I'm gonna let this dry and I'll explain what I'm meaning as far as using the lines to redefine a border. While this is drying, I want to do another bit of a example. So, say you have a corner that you want to use a border on, but you don't really want to extend the border all around like a frame. So what you can do is go in with the dark line first, because when you do the dark line first, the piece that it's connected to is probably going to be a fine liner that is smaller in the nib. So the contrast between the thick versus the thin is much more appealing. So you can go in again, this is just an example of what you can do. So, sorry about that. So another thing that I want to mention, that this here block, I could have contained it all in one go, like this, and the design could have been self-contained within the square or rectangle, without the elements going over the border line, kind of like this here. Okay, so as you can tell, there's so many ways that you can incorporate a border or a frame just have fun. So, the problem is, you did the wash, but you're a little shaky. So, you want to fix the mixed mistakes or excuse me, or boo-boos in such a way that it is more organic. When I use a pen over a wet medium, I like to use an even thinner, finer point, because the ink deposit a little bit darker over the watercolor, or in this case, Color 2s. So I initially go in with a pencil, draw a line that follows what I initially thought of, and then work in some details. And that way, it's no longer a blaring example or in your face mistake. So, how do you like it? Just a few examples of the way you can incorporate a border, change it into a frame, self-contained, going up to the size of the frame itself, and incorporating your frame into the actual doodle. I hope you enjoyed it today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.